the grounds of anything that actually is stating it.
Yep.
Well, we are going live. Just all of a sudden, this wasn't really planned all that much. Just found out that in Emerald's backyard and Theo's former backyard, the protests have broken out and the curfew is in effect. And right as we were setting that up, I got a call from ScreamQueenSelena that guess what? They're happening in Las Vegas too.
Yep.
Downtown's already being shut down. I'm going to see if I can find some live streams of that. But
yeah, I would say pull for your area because they've stopped streaming in my area.
Okay, we can go back to that and watch some of the highlights.
I'm reporting live from a college dorm room in the Soviet Union. It looks like that's tough. This is tough. I'm sorry to agree with you guys. I might need to put some pictures of this background.
Tell Selena be safe. I know she's out there driving, and
she's getting away from everything. Let's see. That was from 2 days ago. I'm looking for one from Vegas. We might not have any live footage from Vegas just yet. 5 hours ago, Vegas prepares for peaceful protests. They were so peaceful that they already had to shut down some of the roads downtown, and it's already gotten it's gotten dangerous to the point where professional drivers that are there to pick people up or deliver their food are having to leave work early because they don't feel safe to do so. So let me go ahead and pull up that.
Oh, there she is. Hey, Selena, be careful out there. Yeah, you don't have to prepare for peaceful protest.
Yeah.
If they're peaceful, you don't prepare. You prepare for bad protests.
Right. Well, and again, like what you guys were talking about backstream right before we went live, the politicians and everybody that is pushing for this kind of behavior are the same ones that live completely out of touch to the common person. They have private security. They have high walls. Nobody can get, near them in most cases, unless it's a drug dealer with a hammer. They were probably invited for an underwear hammer party. That was a while ago.
Don't you all have hammer underwear parties? I do.
Here at home,
That's the best way to have a Saturday.
Las Vegas are making plans ahead of 2 more ICE protests we know are planned already. One tonight, another on Saturday.
So the goal is to prevent anything from escalating like what we see.
And their goal is to prevent people from being able to go to work or already in a town that is struggling to get by, that should not be ever struggling. They're going to do this. And I just want to confirm this. I wasn't with you guys last night, but I know you guys saw some of the charter buses lined up downtown in Vegas all in a row. You don't usually see that many charter buses for no fucking reason. So
yeah, it's kind
all
of
the people here to protest aren't from here.
Yeah. Vegas. Well, because Vegas people don't protest because it's hot. It's hot, and also people like their lives here. So you don't have the same problems you have in like some of the woke places, like in the Northwest, like in Spokane. Everybody's fucking miserable. I totally understand why everybody wants to protest there because people are miserable, But like you see that in the coastal cities, especially. But like I really do think if things pop off in Vegas, it's going to be out of town agitators. I don't think it's going to be locals. It's hot too. It's like 100 degrees at night. It's crazy.
Yeah.
If you go to these places where they have these far leftist jerks and shit that are doing this and sit there and say, you want to jump on a bus and go to Vegas, they see it as an opportunity. They come here, they get to freaking do their little virtue signal and burn shit down. And then they essentially get a free trip to Vegas on top of it. They go out and drink at the bars and shit after they're done burning down people's apartments.
Oh, we already got a few people in the chat. Let's see who we got here. First in, Selena. Hey, come home if you don't feel safe out there. Fuck it. Got Diana. How's it going, Diana?
Hey.
Yeah, good question. She needs to. David D, can somebody loot me some GameCube games? Thanks. Hey, Tony Robinson. Haven't seen you in a while, dude.
You want to know if that's the case, loot me a Switch 2 because I'm sure as hell not going to pay for that price for it.
By the way, if we get a chance to look at the Spokane local news, I want to make note of how much less attractive the Spokane anchors are than the Vegas anchors. It's not even.
Well.
They got some baddies out here. They got some biracial baddies. It looks like. What's up, girl? How you doing? Shout out to the biracial baddies.
Well, unfortunately, I mean, mine when it does pull up is what's going on. Why are you starting to stream now?
We got Third Rallify.
Third Rallify.
It was just a spur of the moment thing, man. I'll send you unless I'm streaming over you. If I am, I apologize. But you're always streaming. Again,
hardest working man in the news business. Third Rallify. Sub to his channel. Friend of the channel. Third Rallify.
You know, we'll stream snap. Oh no, I don't see him on right now. So if you want the link, dude, you're more than welcome to jump in. And yeah, let me pull up your screen, Emerald. Yep, I guess I gotta take mine down first.
Yeah, I mean, because he's not exactly a hottie.
Okay.
All right.
What are you talking about? He's a hottie with a Dottie's body.
Okay, but that's who you want to put in the street. Because if he gets hit by a car or something, nobody's going to miss him.
This is great. I mean, this is the quality of broadcasting in Washington.
Yep. Yeah. I'll let you know.
I mean, they can't even clip it. Take all this stuff out of the.
Don't be.
He's a California 3. He's a Spokane 9.
Yeah, for real.
But then I'm a Spokane 10. Fuck
Yeah,
it.
can we? I wish we could zoom in on those protesters so we could see how fucking ugly they are. It's dumpy people. It's not going to be hot people protesting.
Let's get back down to our Connor McAvoy tonight. And Connor, we have seen police kind of use this tear gas to disperse the crowds. Can you give us a sense of when they use that tear gas, does that seem to make anybody leave the scene or do they just return?
Oh,
you can see behind him is Riverfront Park.
Well, it's safe to say that it's not steering a lot of people away. They're just simply stepping back. Now, you can see the crowd here. You can see a Riverfront Park sign right there. That's where a majority of the crowd is gathered as of now. They were up the street at Washington Street, just up near the Spokane ICE office earlier this afternoon. And with those smoke bombs being dropped, there were 2 different rounds of smoke bombs being dropped. That has caused people to step away and step back as they were clearing the area right there. But this group of people here are still at the scene here, again, at the intersection of North River Drive.
Oh, come on. Look at that. That guy's a hottie. I mean, come on. Definitely. I think definitely a transplant from a different state. That's what's happening, unfortunately, is we're getting a lot of the the good looking ones are moving out. The ugly ones are moving in, which actually helps me move my level higher. So, I mean, it's a mixed bag. Go to a town where I drop to a 3 or stay in a town that's slowly rising my levels.
Right.
Always move to places you're more attractive than the average.
Exactly.
That's how you work your way up the line.
So
now it's looking like right now Seattle's getting the brunt of the bad stuff.
Oh,
I just peeked at the LA streams. They don't look too bad. But Seattle looks a little fucked. Which not surprising because
not surprising. No. So I mean, do you guys remember the CHOP or the Chaz, the Capitol Hill Autonomous Zone? Do you guys remember that?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, look at Farmer Joe. Oh, well, there's one. Oh, that was a good one for. Let's see if we can get back to.
Yeah, I'm not finding anything for Vegas. So hopefully that just means it hasn't got that bad yet.
Well, it's hot here.
Yeah.
Like you actually, like if you're going to go out and protest, even at night, you're going to get sweaty.
Yeah.
It's not going to be fun. Whereas the nighttime temperatures in Spokane right now, I don't know what it is, Emerald, but I imagine it's fairly comfortable.
Currently the temperature is sitting at motherfucker, pull up the weather. Currently, it's 71.
See, very comfortable, very manageable temperature. You can protest in 71. Let's see.
So, yep, there we go. Now they're moving.
Yeah, Vegas is 96, so not as much fun.
Do you think that now that gingers are considered black, they're out there looting?
Maybe. Asking the important questions.
Oh no, smoke, run!
Kenzo's out there right now just robbing shit.
Well, look, I will say where they are protesting though isn't any like shops or anything. The Apple store is not nearby them, so the Apple store in town was safe. So luckily we didn't have any problems there.
Yeah, that's good. There's not like looting or anything. They're just kind of hanging out, being obnoxious.
Oh, here, real quick. I'm gonna switch to my screen real quick. I got something to show. Not a live feed, but it'll make everybody feel a little better. These are good.
Oh yeah.
Now, for context, the water bottle he threw in the face, what's been happening is they're filling them up ahead of time and freezing them. So it's a pretty solid object.
Jeez.
But that's a good one.
Master Hobo is asking if Chaz is making a comeback. I think, Master Hobo, are you looking to become the king of Chaz?
This one was good. Of course, the lady posting this, he didn't do nothing wrong.
Of course.
Okay.
Just out there at a protest wearing a ski mask in the summer. I don't care what state you guys are. Like, no one needs the masks anymore. It's kind of funny how the masks became a thing just months before the initial protest back in the early, summer of love days.
Yeah.
And they're still being utilized now.
Yeah, it
gave a good nut shot.
It gave people the essentially now that it's a built-in excuse, right? It used to be if you walked into a store or something like that with a mask on, people would be weirded out. But now we're supposed to, even though it's not necessary at all, wasn't necessary then, but now it really isn't. You still have people doing it, and it's just gives them a way for them to get around being caught when they're doing bad stuff, because you see people doing it with the robbing stores, like when the group of teenagers will run in there, like dozens of them, and like just loot the entire store. They know if they're walking up to that store with the mask on, no one's going to say anything because people are all desensitized to it. But the reason they're wearing it is obvious reasons, no one can tell who they are.
It makes them harder to identify.
Yeah.
All right. So let's see, here's the live feed of Seattle. Let's see what else we can find here.
I will look for some live feeds from other places.
The cops say if you don't leave, go to jail for assault.
Might go back to that Spokane one. You're looking up for some more live feeds.
Yeah, I am.
No, we didn't finish watching that.
I kind of pulled it up to where our mayor some of the mayor being talking about curfew and stuff of what was occurring.
Okay, let's go ahead and if you got that ready.
Yeah.
I think what really made me want to do this, like I was already thinking about it, but it was what we were talking about at the end of your show, Devil. Just none of this is about ICE or immigration or racial justice or anything. It's only about one thing, and that's the destruction of Western society and ending capitalism and installing. This is all just brown shirt tactics. The fucking Bolshevik.
Oh yeah.
They were being asked to move or was in fact a violation. And I just want to re-emphasize, I don't know the total size of people that came through the area during those several hours, but the vast majority were peaceful, expressing their viewpoints as they have every right to do, and compliant also with officers. And that is what we hope for, that people have that right. There's serious concerns about federal policies. We want people in Spokane to feel free to express those concerns. And we also want to keep everyone safe.
Can you comment on the, like, I know this is a tough situation for everybody, but the idea that, like,
and real quick, Lawrence Knight for $25. My ass just woke up because I dreamt Devil was John Wick and he was trying to delete me. Awesome. No, but who was it that was it you, Theo, that said they're protesting in like Toronto or somewhere? Like,
yeah, they're in Canada. They got protests planned for Canada, and so it's like, okay, well then it's not about ICE. If they're doing it in Toronto, it's not about ICE. It's because they don't have they don't care about U.S. immigration policy there. Like, so this is clearly them shaking their fist at reality, trying to destroy Western civilization, also trying to virtue signal. It's like, look how much I care about oppressed people. I care about oppressed people so much that I'm willing to lash out and destroy property. Look at me. Look how good of a person I am. Also, look how angry I am. Rah! You know. Also, people are economically stressed too. I think that's part of it. I think if people were doing well, people were eating good, people had a lot of extra money, they wouldn't be doing this. That's the other thing too that factors in.
Yeah, I think it would be a lot less likely.
Law by, dispersing people based on municipal grounds, but this was a protest that was designed to keep neighbors who are about to be removed from our city. So neighbors may have been like adhering to the letter of the law, but breaking the spirit of Spokane. In Spokane, we all belong by making.
Okay, I got to preface this before we go back into this. Okay, so recently, our communist city council actually voted and made an ordinance that made us a sanctuary city. This happened in about the last 6 months or so. So again, no cooperation with ICE agents or anything like that.
It's easier for ICE to take people out of the city.
I think it's pretty clear from the observations I had of what was occurring there, and frankly from my communication throughout the afternoon with some of the protesters, that they did not expect that they would be successful in stopping ICE, a federal agency, from completing their mission. And I think anybody who's observed that agency and its actions and the actions of the administration would reach the same conclusion. And they communicated with me that they intended and desired to engage in an act of civil disobedience that would result in arrest.
There was a rumor earlier in the afternoon that you were in direct communication or somebody from your office was negotiating with ICE about the release of people. Is that true? Or
no,
that's conversations?
That's completely false.
Okay.
I've never had any communication with ICE.
Okay.
I was in communication fairly extensively with Attorney General Nick Brown, both describing the situation, getting his perspective on potential legal options, if any. And he then went and consulted with his team and got back to us. So that did take a period of time. And I did connect him to Ben, who was at that point the self-described leader of the group of individuals that were surrounding the vehicle.
Yeah. Mayor.
Now, I've been researching and looking a little into what instigated all this. It was ICE arresting 2 individuals.
Do you have any
one is described, they're described as they're men. One was a Venezuelan seeking asylum. I do not have not been able to find anything quite as of yet as to the identity of the second one.
Okay.
Now, what's going on with ICE agents, with the ICE raids in a lot of these places, is it's still criminal. They're still going after criminals.
Mm-hmm.
Now, they are scooping up more because, again, I think there's been confusion that the left only heard that they were only going to go after criminals, the ones that had committed crimes and stuff like that. And they're still, I mean, we already know what's going on with the Brega. And how they championed, just a terrible guy. And now every time more information comes out going, wow, this was the horse you decided to ride with. But with that said, now they're increasing the umbrella of what they're catching and now they're saying, well, now that's not fair. But the thing is anyone that was paying attention to what Trump was saying during the campaign is that he wants to deport all illegals. Now, polling that's been coming out from like CNN, even CNN has their pollsters showing the numbers that even with legal immigrants that have earned citizenship and are actual now citizens of the United States, so they have the right to vote. So those voters overwhelmingly are approving now of what is going on with ICE and deporting. And on top of that, it's the numbers are increasing from legal immigrants that have the right to vote that are saying deport them all.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Deport all illegals.
Well, people are saying that the strategy is that the Democrats want to import as many illegals as possible into blue states to inflate their numbers so that they have a bigger population, so they get more representation. And I kind of think that's right. I think this is just like a power game. And if they get them out, if they lose all the illegals, because there's not a net benefit to the nation or to the people that should be their constituents for having these people here, and getting them out would be better. So there must be some other reason that they want them there. And it's like they're fighting for it, like the survival of their party depends on it.
Well, because it does. Yeah.
It does. Yeah. So if you look at it like, okay, because it doesn't make sense if what they're saying is true, right? If it's just about these poor oppressed people who came here for a better life, then what they're saying doesn't make any sense. It's like, well, why are you acting this way? It's like, no, it's because they staked the whole strategy of the future survival of their political movement on mass illegal immigration, and Trump is putting a stop to it. So that's what's happening.
Yeah. It's all about the census.
It's not just that. If you look at across the board, Democrats are losing points in all demographics. They're losing the black vote. They're losing the only one that they still have is women of educated this age type thing. When you're losing ground in all those demographics, you have to find ways around that. And the way they can get around that is if they can import enough illegal aliens, get them the right to vote, they automatically are going to go on the government dole. Second, you're sucking from the government teat, they have you. You're never going to vote against them. You're never going to vote against them. That's how they kept the black community under their thumb for so long, was the threat that if you let Republicans in, if you listen to their message, if you actually take into consideration what will make your life better and stuff, and they might have a point, they'll take your food stamps away. Oh, well, in that case, fuck that. I'll never vote Republican again. It's about getting you hooked on the government money, and then they have you buy their short and curlies. And that's easy to do with illegals, because when they come over here, they don't really have anything. They're coming into a country they don't understand. So when they come in, you throw them a freaking food stamp card and say, here, we'll give you free food. Well, now you have them under your thumb for the rest of their lives, and multi-generational.
Free food. Then it goes into what we've been doing for the past 4 years, which is the free housing being put up in hotels, everything else.
I know, you have to do it.
Wow.
You need to vote Democrat.
LA.
This was earlier this evening.
This is a live stream from about an hour ago.
Mostly peaceful.
See, I thought they'd almost seemed like they had LA under control last night when I was watching some of D-Day Cobra's coverage of this. And it looks like they've lost. They brought in their extras here.
Yeah.
It's so stupid. I have no problem with people protesting. If you want to freaking march down the street, you're an annoyance and you'll get in the way, but okay, whatever. But them sitting there trying to justify this, burning down fucking shit, tearing up streets. They've, just like last time, they have trucks unloading pallets of bricks that they've been showing. What are they going to do with those? They're not going to fucking, stack them. Like, they're going to throw them. They're going to break windows. They're going to throw them at people. There's no justification for that. They're not.
And who's paying for that shit? Where's it all coming from? These are it. This is all paid agitators. And I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there, but my God.
No.
I'm sorry. I don't find cops in shorts very threatening, even if they are wearing stuff. I that's just personal opinion on that one.
First thing I think of is the remake of what was it called? That fucking with Channing Tatum.
Reno
29 Jump Street.
Yeah, 21 Jump Street. 21 Jump Street.
21 Jump Street. That's what it was.
Where he's all and he's shooting in the air.
On top of the cop car, Sonic.
Yeah,
that's that Sonic unit.
They
the big speaker looking thing on top of the cop car.
Every time I see a cop in shorts, it reminds me of Reno 911. Where the main guy has his shorty shorts on.
Yeah, they need to find out who's funding it, and if they're likely, like we all pretty much assume that they're they're rich people in foreign countries. We need to fucking put a stop to that.
Well, I would not be surprised if Act Blue's not involved in it.
Well, no, our people here are involved in it. Somebody did a deep dive, and those masks I was saying they were passing out, the ones that cost $80 a piece, that they literally had truckloads of them rolling in.
Stairs.
You can't buy those in bulk except from any store. But a place that does sell them and has a shit ton of them, oddly enough, is Walmart. And one of the people backing one of the protesting groups just happens to be one of the owners of Walmart, one of the rich family people. So yeah, it's very well possible that they literally took a bunch of those masks from one of the Walmart freaking not super centers, but where they distribute everything,
right,
and brought them there. Like, you have billionaires freaking seeing they're feeding this.
Yeah. Here, let's look at this real quick. I'm gonna take yours off for a second and put mine up.
I just got offered $200 a day to go protest ICE in New York. The organization was called No Kings. They said June 14th, we're going to be protesting, and these are the streets that you need to be on, and this is what you need to do. You need to cause chaotic disruptions, and they said that there's going to be pallets of like bricks and different things everywhere that protesters could use. They really want to wreak havoc. It's kind of ridiculous. Me as an American, although I need the money, I'm like, this is very, very unpatriotic. If I was to go take this money and go protest, it's not very American. It's not what I stand for. It's obviously not even, worth the time. But, $200 a day is what they're paying people to go protest. The corruption is up here because it goes way beyond these organizations. They want to destroy America, and people like me that need money are gonna go do it. I'm not gonna go do it, but people are gonna go do it. They're gonna go destroy the city and cause chaos. It's just crazy that they're even paying people to go do this. It just goes to show that everything we deal with is corruption, and these people at the top level, like, who's paying for this? There's got to be some billionaires paying for this so that they could try to get Trump out or something. But $200 a day to go cause chaos is like crazy. Not worth it, but also like really fucked up.
Yeah. And you got to think about it. You get people that are desperate, like that normally would make $200 a day doing Uber or Lyft or Uber Eats, rideshare, food delivery, all that. You take that away because guess what? You can't drive through town because all the roads are closed. Well, I could just do this for a check. And even if they're not going to take part in the actual like destructive nature of it, maybe to try to justify it that way, they're still building the numbers. And that's what they want, is that basically to show that vision of, look at how many people object to what Trump's doing. immigration laws actually being enforced for the first time in 4 years.
Yeah. The No Kings protest, which is scheduled for Saturday. One of the organizers is a very well-known individual, and that is Randy Weigarten. Reason why she is familiar is she is the head of the teachers union.
Oh,
yeah. They had her speaking the other day.
Yep.
Oh, and just what Devil was talking about, there it is. Walton Harris runs ad promoting No King's Day protests against Trump and MAGA.
Yep. See, now I'm all about peaceful protesting, but the moment your constitutional rights cannot impede someone else's constitutional rights, so freedom of, and I know freedom of movement is not necessarily a constitutional right, but it does. Theo might be able to answer a little bit more clearer on that with your background, but I think your freedom to protest is now no longer valid the moment you interfere with another person's constitutional rights. So blocking traffic or stopping traffic in the free flow, free movement, because that almost is kind of falls under like postal routes. I think that right there, that's now unlawful.
I agree with that 100%. It's basically you're kidnapping somebody. You're holding somebody against their will by preventing them to leave where they are, even if they're just stuck in their car for hours on end.
That's exactly it. Like there's this. Everyone knows how most of us feel about the government. I don't trust the government for nothing. I don't trust Republicans. I don't trust Democrats. I don't trust nobody. If you're from the government, that's the scariest word somebody can say to you is, I'm from the government. I'm here to help. You know, I'm so against people just believing what the government's going to feed you and stuff like that. So I'm all for, like you said, protesting. I think people should protest when their government has these things if you disagree with it. But yeah, like you said, you can do it peacefully. You don't have to ruin people's day. You don't have to, and you could change people's mind. If I was driving down the street and lining the street are people just peacefully holding up signs, saying their piece, I might freaking look at that sign and go, you know what? Maybe I'll look a little more into it. Maybe I'll, do my due diligence in it or something like that. The second you come running out in the street and I have to hit the brakes and I'm stuck in, surrounded by assholes for, 3 hours till the cops can finally get them cleared out enough I can get to work. Yeah, you've lost me. I'm not going to freaking ever be open to what you're saying. So these things are not designed. These protests are not designed to change hearts and minds. They're not designed to freaking make people go, you know what? I changed my mind. Like I said earlier, they are designed for nothing more than to cause chaos and essentially try to find ways to blame Trump. That's all it is. That's all what this boils down to, is somehow trying to hurt Trump, disrupt people, and cause mischief. And like we said, it's all backed by rich people who are never going to have to put up with the chaos. That Walton lady, she lives in not only a gate, she lives on a probably private island. Let's be honest. Do you think she's ever going to be touched by this kind of crap? Hell no.
Blue-Eyed Scorpio brings up a really good point. Is if the government wanted to help, it has the power and the resources to help, but it survives off of problems. Yes, that's the whole point. When it comes to the politicians, specifically politicians, and this is again another reason why you can love your country and hate your government, but the problem is that too many times it's the politicians and lawmakers that are screwing things up, screw it up, and then say you need to reelect me because I'm the only one that can fix the problem. They create the problem so they have something that they can say, I'm going to fix it. Well, it's the problem you created. You need to go because you created the problem. But unfortunately, incumbency of elected office is really hard to beat. So again, I'm all for term limits for that exact reason.
Yeah. And same reason they'll never solve problems that they do have, like the Dreamers thing. When Trump first quit that on his first term, he literally said, the reason I'm doing this is so Congress can codify this. It's not supposed to be done through executive orders. Congress, get on this, make the Dreamers legal, and I will sign the paper tomorrow. All you guys have to do is your job. And what did they do? They didn't do shit with it because they don't want a prom. They want a political football, which is the same thing with Obamacare was. The Republicans sat there run for years on repeal and replace Obamacare, repeal and replace Obamacare. Trump came in, said, give me put a plan on my desk and I'll sign it immediately. They could not get enough votes with the Republicans to repeal and replace it because they didn't want to repeal and replace it. They wanted a political football. They wanted a message that they could sit there and use, not to actually solve the problem.
They did take too long on that, and then when it finally got to it, it lost by 1 vote because of fucking John McCain.
Yep,
and
John
this
McCain.
is a reason why I think laws do need to change and need to be written, and it's not going to happen. It would have to be a convention of states, but I do think actually it should be actionable. McCain ran on appealing Obamacare. He fundraised off that. The fact that when the vote came to him and he went against it because his beef with Trump, I think constitutes fraud and should be able to be sued for anyone that actually gave money to the campaign because of that. You said you were going to do this. It came to you and you backtracked. I gave you money because you said you were going to do that. You committed fraud.
John McCain.
Sure, dude. I sent you the link.
John McCain was, I hated that son of a bitch so bad because he was a Democrat. No doubt. He, just like Lindsey Graham, he voted mostly with Democrats, but he would never lose his seat because one, the Arizona, everybody there, the older, the older people that live there respect the fact that he was in the army and that he was a POW. So he had that going for him, and he had R next to his name. All he needed was those two things: the R next to his name, even though he wasn't a Republican, and the fact he was a POW. He could do no wrong. They were never going to get him out of office. And so he could sit there and say, I'm a Republican, but then be a Democrat the entire time. One of his best friends was Nancy Pelosi, I believe. He always would go to lunch and stuff. They'd have pictures of them at their, power lunches together. Dude was a Democrat and everyone knew it. But like I said, since there was an R next to his name and because he was a POW, he got reelected every single time. No matter how bad he screwed his constituents over, they still reelected him because of those two things. He was a punk.
Right. And that's why too many people, and I mean, they took it in the case of when Trump kind of went after him, it kind of pointed that out. The whole point is like, hey, I kind of like my my heroes to have not been captured. Now, was that a bit of a dig? Yeah. I mean, POW, I mean, he was unlike other politicians like George W. Bush that never really saw combat and he was just a reservist. So he never actually went. Then you had Bill Clinton who circumvented even serving. You had those things. McCain actually was a fighter pilot and he was part of Rolling Thunder in North Korea and North Vietnam and was shot down. And so he was a POW for a long time and went through all of that stuff. So I respect the service that he gave to the country and the fact that he was a vet and a POW. But in a civilian capacity, he's a piece of shit garbage. He was a terrible politician. He was not good.
Yeah. I can respect somebody's service. I can respect somebody's sacrifice. But yeah, that doesn't mean that everything they do for the rest of their life is somehow whitewashed of the bad stuff. Yeah.
How you doing this evening, Mr. Berger?
I'm doing all right. I appreciate Iron letting me chime in here on when you guys hit something that I'm a little bit more versed in. I know nothing of John McCain other than the fact that I didn't like him. But as far as what's going on in LA, I think bringing what's going on with the Negroes is black people in Los Angeles have gotten wise to the fact that they don't want to share in the burden of illegal aliens. There's a lot of videos out there where I was actually going to try and find a couple where African Americans are no longer in solidarity with what's happening with illegal aliens. One, because a few of them killed. I think one of them. There was one case where illegal aliens raped a black young woman, and number two, black people have finally figured out that the more you advocate for these people to come into the country, the less jobs, less opportunities we have as a community. I don't understand why that's taken damn near 30 years to figure out, but some have finally started to figure that out. Anybody who advocates, any of the black congressional leaders that advocate for this policy should burn it, has a special spot in hell where they should burn. It really is. They are stupid. This is, when I was a kid, living in Texas, I would go to a McDonald's. 80% of the crew would be black teenagers. As I got older, over the next decade or so, it was all replaced with Latinos, gone. And what that did to our community is it made, number one, you had rappers talking about how working an honest day, getting an honest wage was something that suckers did. People like Ice Cube, Snoot, other people, Trey Songz, who else? Buster. They always just talk about how working was just something that idiots and suckers did. And that poisoned an entire generation. So hell, if you did get a job at McDonald's, people made fun of you. So what happened? And a bunch of illegals, a bunch of undocumented came in, took over those lower middle class jobs, and it destroyed the entire community. And now they're going for nursing, air conditioning repair, pest control, upper middle class jobs, plumbers are now being taken. So the African American community suffers even more, and it's black people's fault. This isn't white folks that's doing this. As usual, it's black people's fault that that's happening, because you keep voting for morons who bring these people in. You get black politicians telling you it's a good thing to bring these people in.
But yeah, like Mayor Brandon from Chicago.
Yeah. Who has a 5% approval rating now. It went from 7 to 5%. Good job, fucking moron. This is embarrassing. This is stupid. This is something that needs to stop. It really is. Well, Berger, you're making a racial issue out of it again. No, I'm not. I'm speaking truth. I'm telling you that any African American that supports politicians, and that's what you saw this afternoon, black congressional caucus members, 5 or 6 of them flanking other members of Congress, talking about what an outrage and blah, 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 blah. We stand with our migrant brothers and sisters. No. The majority of African Americans don't.
Yeah.
We were the second largest population in this country. Now we're the third. And that happened in the last 5 years, which nobody talks about. Nobody talks about. There was 38 million, apparently, of us. There's 13% of the population, about 38 million African Americans in this country. There are almost 42 million Latinos in this country now. We have been surpassed.
Yeah.
And that is nobody's fault except African Americans. White folks didn't do that. We did it to ourselves. It's pathetic.
Yeah, you're voting in your own, like, the replacement theory isn't a racial thing. It's about Americans versus non-Americans being replaced for middle class jobs and replacing an entire community with non-citizens.
A real easy way of seeing that is in New York City during Thanksgiving this last year. The city buys a bunch of turkeys and gives them out to low income families and stuff so they could have a Thanksgiving and stuff. And this year you had a large group of the black community really upset because they actually cut off the giving out the turkeys and the food, because they're all like, it's not ethnic and we need to think about the migrants. And so instead they spent all the money they used to use buying turkeys and all that stuff and bought essentially Hispanic food. And so all these families were like, we counted on that to have Thanksgiving for our families. And it caused, you actually saw like film of like blacks and Hispanics fighting on the streets because when they went there to get their normal thing so they could have their Thanksgiving, they were told, sorry, you want a bag of tortillas and refried beans? And they got pissed. And so they were literally fighting in the streets, coming to freaking fisticuffs because they felt betrayed. Their city betrayed them.
Mm-hmm.
They care more about
100%. And it makes sense. My biggest thing is you fucking voted for that. You idiot Negroes voted for that shit. And you get what you fucking deserve. No pity, no mercy, no nothing. You fucking voted for it. You sold out your own people. You voted for it. You get what you fucking deserve. It's ridiculous.
Mm-hmm. And I'm sure you guys already saw this from yesterday, but I'll go ahead and play it again because it kind of feeds right into what we were just talking about.
Oh, yeah.
What about my kids? Look at this. What happens to my kids? But you can if you could just move out the way. You're not going to. How is this a peaceful protest if there's nothing to do? No, it's not.
How do you as white people feel about stopping a black woman from going to work?
Oh no, not work. I care so much.
So you don't care about.
Let's go back to her face right there, because this is, I think, the realization that she's been voting for this and thinking that these people are her friends.
Yeah.
These probably, completely funded, taken care of, white liberals that don't have to work. Well, we don't want to work. Why would you want to? And I think it's just hitting her. She's like, I'm going to go buy a MAGA hat.
I will say I will say this shit again. I've said it before. I'll say it again. The most dangerous thing to the African American community in this country is not skinheads. It's not the Klan. It's not neo-Nazis. It's not white supremacists. It's liberal, progressive white women.
Mm.
They are more dangerous than all those groups combined because they vote for this shit. They think they don't have to live in it. Right. They go back to the gated communities or the security controlled high rises. It is not. Yeah, divide and conquer strategy, exactly. A hobo. This is they go back, they vote for this shit, thinking they're quote unquote helping, and they're literally destroying us as an entire race. They're more dangerous than all those groups combined. They don't help anything. They don't successfully do anything except make our lives harder. It's pathetic. It really, really is.
Make your lives harder, make your dependence on government more. So you never have so no one ever has a way to escape. They don't just want this for one community either. That's why their ultimate goal, I think, is to completely eradicate the middle class.
Yeah. In other words, it'll be like Russia. I lived in Russia for almost 2 years. And you have the class structure is you have the extremely rich, you have the working poor, and then you have the poor. They don't have a middle class. They tax people to death. They create hardships based upon regulations and everything else. You can't get ahead and everything. You can earn just enough money to feed your family, keep the lights on, and that's it. If you save enough money all year to take a week vacation, which is shitty, and that's it. No middle class whatsoever exists in Russia. It is the working poor, and the rich. And they want that shit here. They absolutely do. They don't want you to be able to travel. They don't want you to be able to do too much. It's pathetic. Truly, it's pathetic. And this guy here, the smug fucking face, going to work. What a piece of shit.
Yeah.
So you don't care about stopping black people from going to work?
Look at this line that you guys are causing. I'm not causing no problems. I'm not trying to. We're just trying to leave.
She thinks she can reason with these people.
Yeah.
There's no reasoning with them. She's being completely rational. She's being polite. She's just asking for a way out. And no, because their cause, she has to suffer for it. Why wouldn't she be honored to suffer for their cause?
God, how pathetic. It
So-
really is.
Let me pull up Drunkens here.
Okay, so this has been floating around a little bit, and we have the Democrats completely rewriting history.
In a bipartisan way, on January 6th, with violence against the Constitution, against the Congress, and against the United States Capitol, we begged the President of the United States to send in the National Guard. He would not do it.
We have responsibility, Terry. We did not have any accountability for what was going on there, and we should have. This is ridiculous. You're going to ask me in the middle of the thing when they've already breached the inaugural stuff that should we call the Capitol Police? I mean, the National Guard? Why weren't the National Guard there to begin with?
They thought that they had sufficient
No,
resources.
there's not a question of how they have, but they don't know. They clearly didn't know, and I take responsibility for not having them just prepare for more.
Yeah, their whole thing, as usual, repeat something as many times until people believe the lie and not the truth.
Your time is coming.
They've been doing that with.
Your time is
Can
coming.
I just say that bitch sounded way drunker than I did all weekend, so I don't want to get shit for that.
Yeah, but
drunk
iron is fun iron.
For me, maybe not so much everybody else.
Iron does a great job of hosting music trivia when he's a little tipsy. I've seen it. It's a good time.
I'm there to party.
All right, what else? Especially when we do early 90s stuff. There's nothing more fun than tipsy iron and alternative rock or pop music. Yeah. Nothing more fun. You talk about somebody who hates, who just Lisa Loeb and others. Lisa Loeb and Jewel. 5-minute rant on who are you ranting about last week?
Oh fuck, I don't remember, dude. It could have been a lot.
I don't know
of
if it was
options.
Katie Bush or somebody. You fucking just went on and on. I didn't dare stop you. It was beautiful. But Miss Pelosi's her time in the barrel is coming. She's got a lot of stock issues to deal with.
Mm-hmm.
And the only reason they don't deal with it right now is because others are involved. You pull a string on her, you pull a string on Republicans and Democrats alike. They're all doing it. That's the reason I haven't come forward yet. But Trump's last year, you're going to see something. You're going to see something.
I think that's the reason been for the slow walking of the Epstein thing to the insider trading, things that are so obvious to all of us, but they're not willing to go at it aggressively. Is too many, really connected people are kind of in positions to block it for at least the time being. I think that's even why we saw Elon Musk get really frustrated about it, and he's since recanted on that. But I think his point was just like, well, why else would you be slow walking this? Because that's something he's been pushing for too. What you got here, Emerald?
Well, but I mean, I feel for you, but you should have come here legally. Just to protest and say, did I change your mind? Yes. I don't feel for you anymore.
Yeah, that pretty much sums it up pretty well.
Yep. And that's happening even with the legal immigrant community is turning on the illegals, where polling had it at like 40% in favor of the Democrats when it came to legals and supporting of illegal immigrants staying, and that was in 2018. In 2020, and now Republicans are +8, and with the illegal support. I mean, with legals supporting the removal of all illegals.
Yeah, and I mean, just they couldn't. That was inevitable when you allow that many people. You get the influx of actual criminals coming in. I can completely understand that some people are just in a hurry to get here and are going to take some shortcuts. But if those were just the few and far between that was being looked at all, it wouldn't be an issue. But it is an issue because they just overabundance of all of them, and now it's like you got no choice. They you almost all got to go. They just all got to go. Hey, thanks for the sub, man. This is apparently a high-speed chase. Looks like it's been going on a while. It's still live from what I can see. The guy was involved in assault on a police officer in Los Angeles. Let's see where we're okay. We're caught up, so it looks like they must have finally eventually got him here.
Is this the rock thrower? God, I hope so.
They already got him. They already got him yesterday or
good
earlier today.
Yeah.
Let's see. Hobo. Legal immigrants work enough to get in this country, so I'm not surprised that. Yeah. In fact, yeah, go hang out with some Cuban Americans or Vietnamese or not Filipino, but the Vietnamese, especially. Those are two that I know are very specifically against all, and I mean all, illegal immigrants, and they're very patriotic once they get everything, go to all the work and get everything done the right way.
Now, some people that may not listen to Glenn Beck, I listen to Glenn Beck. But this morning he actually had on one of the rooftop Koreans, and I guess he's actually right. He was 19 back in the 90s when that was happening. So he's writing a book that is designed essentially for the younger generation. Essentially, more hey, you've got to watch out for yourself. You need to know how to protect yourself. You need to watch out for these things. Essentially, to educate the younger generation, and this or the rooftop Korean, one of that were there during that.
If the illegals in the back, it's easy to people saying anything else or are that out of touch with reality. You're 100% right. Like I said, if it was a small isolated problem with just a few people, it wouldn't be like, but the Democrats have weaponized this as a method of controlling power, and they got away with it for way too long, and now we're in the shit we're in. What up, Abe? All right. Well, we can see if there's any more live streams.
Yeah, let's continue to search around. If you want to pull my screen up real quick, additional one. And this is very true as well.
Yeah. Yeah, I love how they've already been saying that this whole time. He's escalating the situation by trying to get help.
Yep.
100%. True words never spoken. It's just interesting how gullible or how susceptible to lies and manipulation a certain community of people can be. It's a bit depressing, to be honest. It was not this way when I was a kid. So if everybody remembers, late 90s, early 2000s, it seemed like the whole racism thing had been kind of worked out. People were really getting along based upon merit. I think that was one of the most chill times for white guys and black guys. It just seemed like things were going to be, there was an okay future ahead. And then Barry got elected. and then everything went to shit, and it hasn't rebounded back. Unbelievable. Oh, this is a beaut. Go ahead, Iron. Yeah, tell us about this.
Okay, so this is what's going on here. This vehicle right here is distributing high-end shield masks. Now the thing about it is that the driver of the truck, unfortunately, I gotta still search for it. He's been identified, and he is part of the Teamsters Union.
Oh.
Yep.
A high up individual within the Teamsters.
Those are the ones I said you can't get in bulk, but they might have come from the Walmart distribution centers.
I wonder why that is. Seeing as the Walmart heiress is a lunatic liberal, I think boys, this is what you're gonna find. They're gonna trace this money back, and you're gonna find Mackenzie Bezos at the end of it, Melinda Gates at the end of it, and that loony ho Walmart heiress at the end of it. You're gonna find a bunch of multi-billionaire women at the end of this, at the end of that chain. That's who you're gonna find that's ultimately supporting this garbage. What do you want to bet?
And then the usual suspects of like ActBlue, Soros. But the ones again, and you nailed it on the head earlier by saying yes. The most dangerous group currently in this country is absolutely not the neo-Nazis. It's not the KKK. It is white liberal women. That is what's destroying the country right now.
Hell, they're more dangerous than the Chinese and the Russians combined.
Yes. Absolutely. Because they're within our borders. They're right here, and and everything that we're kind of facing right now is because of them.
Yeah. There's another lot from Seattle. Looks like it's still rocking out there pretty bad.
They seem to be handling it a little bit better in Seattle and New York. They seem to be handling
it was popping off earlier tonight.
But the cops seem to be a hell of a lot more aggressive than they were.
That's true.
And New York is definitely they're a lot more aggressive than they were when de Blasio and that other, when Eric Adams was first there. Now he doesn't seem to be taking a lot of shit because the cops in New York are extremely aggressive. Just saw some video before I came on here. They're not playing around in New York. They're really not. They're basically trying to stop it before it gets started. And the Seattle cops seem to be way more aggressive than they've ever been during the CHOP or the Summer of Love. They seem to be way more aggressive. We'll see what Chicago does on the 14th. We'll see. I imagine that's going to be a shit show.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I think this is just getting started, and we're probably going to see at least another week or two of this before it really starts to taper down. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say I don't think it's gonna get as bad as Summer of Love because of a few reasons. One, Trump is ready to just pull the trigger on federal direction of National Guard, military, all of that, and I think a lot of the cities in general just aren't putting up with it as much. But we'll see.
Well, we've had 4 years to percolate on it, and it's like the BLM shit. When it first started, there was massive support for it. George Floyd died of an overdose, by the way. There's massive support for it. But as cities burned, as people were assaulted, as things just started to circle down the drain, and people had the time to reflect on it, and social media had time to get the facts out, BLM's popularity, BLM's positivity went straight down the toilet. and eventually they became an organization, a pariah organization, and nobody wanted anything to do with. Yeah. This is the result of that. There is going to be you're destroying your chances in the midterms, Democrats. You really are. The midterms are not going to be kind to you at all. If you think they're going to be kind to you, you're fucking stupid. Your chance in the midterms,
no argument there,
are screwed. Gavin Newsom, they're worse than Gavin Newsom's chances to be president of the United States. Because all they're gonna do is just play. All you have to do is play video like this. You don't even have to have narration. You don't even have to have a call to action at the end. Just play video from the fires and the riots. He won't make it past the first round in primaries. Well, I don't know.
But will they reelect a Democrat? And I think the answer, at least for right now, is yes, especially in California. Chicago is probably the same way, because we were just talking about Mayor Brandon's numbers being in the toilet, but they just elected him right after Beetlejuice, and it was the same thing with her. Her numbers were trash. They wanted to get rid of her. Things were looking positive, and what did they do? That. All right, I'm gonna bring this up real quick.
He's doing.
Here's a clip that I'm sure some have seen. I really think they need to add the Benny Hill music to it.
Oh. Okay, well, they got a couple of them at least.
Okay, let me explain this video, folks. What you didn't see is inside that store, there's a bunch of white people with red hats holding guns up to black people's heads saying, steal this stuff. Steal it. You understand? I'm the evil white man, and I'm making you take all this shit out of the Apple store.
Right.
Blame the white man.
Well, what's kind of interesting is that guy that's being wrestled right now, pretty white skin.
He was one of the people inside of the store that was using the whammy or hypnotism to get all those black people to steal stuff.
Yeah.
Frankly, you group of racists on this program ought to know that. It's racist. The white man's voodoo. Jesus. I'll say this because none of you can't, and this is the statement that might get you in trouble. So tighten your sphincters. There is not a racism problem in this country. There is a race that is becoming a problem in this country. All right, I've said this before. Gotten a lot of heat for it, but that's the truth. And it's not because of genetics. It's not because of skin tone. It's because of rap music. It's because of lack of fathers in the household. It's because of the Democratic Party in large. It's because liberal white women. Mm-hmm. And it's because number one reason is not taking personal responsibility for your actions and having kids out of wedlock. Yeah. That's the reason for that statement. That's the reason why this shit's happening.
Black fatigue is real. I mean,
you're damn right. I got 100% of it. It's running all through me.
No, I think we lost Theo. I'll double check with him, but we're going on an hour, and I still got to get up in the morning, so we're probably going to wrap it up right about here. So we'll start down at the bottom with you, Mr. Berger. Tell everybody where you're going to be next, how people can find you, and I'll throw some links in the chat for you, bud.
First of all, Selena, the Kira Watches is bi-monthly. That's the reason why you didn't get the link today. It's bi-monthly. It's every other week is when we do it. So sorry if I didn't make that clear. We'll be back on with Kira Watches with Selena Scream Queen and myself next Thursday at the 9:15 hour. You can catch old Mr. Berger, the Mega Trivia Show, where I'm a little less radical, and a little less vocal, except for when it comes to Will Smith. Even worse things about Will Smith on my own show than I've said here. Will Smith is the devil. Catch Mega Trivia Challenge after Flashcast every Sunday morning. Iron Oxide will be there, and he will be square on that particular one. And folks, September 2025, be there for our ad campaign for our 30-minute sitcom, The Mr. Burger Show. Mr. Burger Goes to Prison. Hit us up on Kickstarter. Help us out. We want to try and get that cartoon done. Get it up on Amazon, Tubi, Freebie, and other streaming services out there. And again, as always, shout out to David D, my nemesis. May he rot in hell forever. Love, a peace, and a chicken grease. I'm out. Kick me, Iron.
See you later, man. Have a good night, dude. Thanks for stopping by. All right. Devil Made Me Do It. Where can people find you next? All that.
No, Selena, it's bi-monthly. There's a difference. No, I'm you can catch me on Friday on Sam's channel with Bissell Musings. Then you can catch me over at the pub on my channel, Beelzehub on Beelzehub. And then back here or back on my channel on next Wednesday is episode 2 of Make Me a Sandwich. We just did episode 1. It was a lot of fun. You guys can go check it out.
Awesome. Drunken Emerald Arrow, where can people find you?
Coming up next, we have the weekly Rogues Gallery over here on this channel, and then I will be swinging in with Gina and Sean's stream on Friday, which leads into insert title here at 9:30 PST over on my channel. Then Saturday morning is Capecast at 8:30 PST, which we go into deep lore of Batman. Then at 11, I produce Touchgrass with Theo Snodgrass over on Theo's channel, and then Tuesdays at 6 p.m. is Nerds Covering the News, and then Make Me a Sandwich over on Devil's channel at 7:30 on Wednesday.
All right. Awesome. And I think Theo either tuckered out or had some internet issues, but I'm putting his links in the chat. Everybody go follow Theo Snodgrass, local stand-up comedian in Las Vegas, Nevada, over on X, YouTube, Patreon. Linktree is all in the description. The podcast he hosts is Touchgrass with Theo Snodgrass every Saturday at 11:30 a.m. PST. As for me, I sub to this channel. You'll find me. You can also follow me over on Rumble as well. We have the weekly Rogues Gallery every Friday at 5:35 p.m. PST, and I will be working on making a more consistent Ironcast like what you saw tonight. This was just kind of a spur of the moment thing, but we're still getting some stuff off the ground. So if you just follow over on X, you can figure out what's going on. But we're going to go ahead and call it a night here, folks. So thanks for hanging out for a bit, and we'll see everybody later. Bye-bye.